riding that.
I saw you
I'm
drop a
riding
ball.
that.
I think I saw you drop a ball,
Well,
but it was only one.
only
Hey,
one.
I want to tell you, when we have somebody sitting right here like Mike is today, their appearance is sponsored by Papa John's, the official pizza sponsor of the Colorado Avalanche. Every time the Avs win and score more than 3 goals, you get 50% off your regular menu price online order the very next day. All you have to do is use promo code AVS3, AVS3 at papajohns.com.
Okay.
Let's play a game with both of you.
Okay.
Because we're here to have
I
fun.
love games.
I'm going.
Do we wait? Do we win anything
Oh,
if we're
right.
right?
I'm going to say a name, and
some
you
water.
give me your
That's yours.
immediate response in 10 words or less.
Okay.
Yes or no, and
Okay.
if you want to put it. Dan Quinn, because I mentioned him yesterday. He's being speculated as he could take whatever job he wants.
He's a
to.
long-term answer. He's a long-term answer. He's not a Peyton Manning window answer. See, that's the problem. I
Guy
think.
who's never been a head coach.
Right. That's the problem with, I think, why John Fox wanted to get out here, because that window.
Yeah,
that puts
okay.
a lot of pressure
So that's
on
a
him.
no.
I find it intriguing because
That's
even
not a yes or no.
Hold on, hold on.
Yes or no.
No,
There's a
I-
gun pointed your
I find
yes or no.
Well, there are no yes or no answers. I'm not a black and white kind of guy. Okay, I'm just not. I find
Look
it.
at that.
Come on.
It's
I
a
find
black
it.
and white guy.
I find it intriguing because even though he's been given a lot of talent to work with in that Seattle secondary or the Seattle defense, he knows what to do with it. I like the fact they've got killer instinct on that defense, and that's probably a reflection of him. But I agree with Mike.
Yeah.
You're bringing back Peyton Manning for one more year. I don't want a rookie head coach, and I don't want a guy who's on the defensive side of the ball as a
So I
rookie
think
head
that's
coach.
a no, and that's a
No.
hesitant.
Yeah, I'm kinda-
It's a gray area.
Hesitant, kind of okay.
Next one.
Next one. I'm gonna give you one. Wizenhut.
Hell no.
No, he hasn't shown me anything.
Hell no.
No.
No. Not for this
Mike
team.
Shanahan.
That's interesting. That is an interesting choice because I think from Mike's perspective, walking in that room, guys will get to the edge of their seat because that's Mike Shanahan walking across.
Think Peyton will be happy with that one?
I would
Oh, my
assume
goodness.
so.
Are you kidding me?
But is this
I-
team about Peyton Manning anymore?
Well,
I think
no-
his skills are diminished.
If
I really
Peyton
do.
Manning's coming back, it's about winning now.
It is.
Right?
It is. But again, Mike will be integral on the offensive side. He won't be
won't he be
integral on
able
the
to help?
defense.
Won't he be able to help develop Brock Osweiler as well?
Sure, but
Okay.
who's his defensive coordinator?
He is the quarterback whisperer in a lot of
Right,
respects.
but
all
who's his defensive coordinator? You know his track record with defensive coordinators in Denver. Who is Mike Shanahan's defensive
And
coordinator?
he hired a
Good question.
terrible defensive coordinator
Right.
in Washington, and they finally gotten rid of him.
All right,
Right.
so a resounding yes from me.
Okay.
I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
and
saying
he's
Resounding,
talking-
but he
he's
and John
talking-
Elway have to make peace.
Okay.
Sure.
Buffalo coach just left his job, Marone. What do you think about him and the job he did at Buffalo? Would you say yes or no? And
Well-
you guys are going to take 2 hours.
No. My answer is no.
I'm with Mike. You know what? I'm reading too much that's negative about him. Way too much. They didn't get along with people. They didn't care for him.
Okay, how about Kyle Shanahan?
No, not ready.
No, not ready.
All right. How about Marty Schottenheimer? you mentioned him earlier.
Marty Schottenheimer just left here yesterday.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't want Marty Schott. Another John Fox. That's what he is.
Yeah, absolutely.
There was, help me out.
You
There
left
was
one
a-
out.
Oh, I've left out several of them.
Well, yeah,
still.
but one very big name that Adam Schefter reported this morning will be reached out to. Gary Kubiak.
Yeah.
Well, I was saving him for last.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
But I'll bring it
Stole
up
his
now.
thunder.
Gary Kubiak.
Yes, I think Gary Kubiak would be perfect for Denver, not only for the short term, but for the long term to develop Brock Osweiler. A lot of similarities with Brock and Joe Flacco, right? Both statuesque players, can move out of the pocket, can roll out, can big arm. The offense will be totally different than what it is with Peyton Manning, but yet Gary Kubiak could still come in here, respect the room. Elway would also take pressure off of Kubiak immediately, and then Kubiak can settle in for a long-term answer for the Broncos. I think it's a perfect fit right there.
If Gary Kubiak wants to be a head coach, and we all know how reluctant he is to be a head coach, he had to be talked into the Houston job, and he reneged on the CU job because he didn't want the spotlight.
Right.
If he wants to be a head coach and he's ready to come in here and roll up his sleeves, I think he could be a good fit here.
Wade Phillips. You're laughing. We talked Mike Shanahan.
Yeah.
Wade Phillips is being interviewed for the defensive coordinator's job in Washington.
Yes.
Is it Washington? Okay.
Wade Phillips. And they can be yes or no answers. I'm
Personal-
throwing names at you.
Wade
Personal
Phillips,
experience.
Brought Mike in
Right,
to be a Denver Bronco.
And
Yes.
then they fired Wade to hire Mike. So after 1 year, I don't know if Wade is the head coach of the Denver Broncos of this team. He's always inherited somebody else's team. Now, Gary Kubiak could bring Wade Phillips as defense coordinator, and I think that would be a fine move as well.
Wade's one of those guys. He is a very good coordinator.
Right.
He lacks what is necessary as a head coach.
Right.
He does not. This is a game of discipline and repetition.
But you want-
Wade is not disciplined
Yeah.
himself, and he doesn't discipline his
And if
players.
I was saving Gary Kubiak to last, but I've got a name.
I'm sorry.
I've got a name that's
I
better
blew- I
than
blew
that.
that.
No, it's
Better than
okay.
that?
You said you're leaving out. I was
Okay.
going through it. One more name, and then we're going to go to social media. And I want to mention that if you have a name, because John does pay attention to what we say.
Sometimes.
Elway.
Sometimes.
Occasionally, yeah. I got word that he liked my column that they had no soul. That everybody else hated it in Dove Valley, but this comes from an impeccable source who said that John Elway agreed with me. That thought it was good for the team to maybe push them into having some soul. I have one other name for you. Urban Meyer.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
You know,
How
that
much
is
NFL
interesting.
experience does Urban have?
He coached wide receivers, I believe,
Yeah,
in the league.
I can't remember
Very
where
little,
though.
very little.
Very
Yeah.
little, though. But who's your coordinators? Is it Gary?
Well, I don't know.
You know, that's what I'm
asking you,
saying.
Urban
But
Meyer, yes or no? I mean, do you want Urban Meyer? I mean, he's proven on the college level he can win championships. He may end up being one of the greatest college coaches in the world.
Right.
The Seattle Seahawks reached out for a guy who'd had some NFL experience, but basically was a college coach. Guess what? They won the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah, but they built that team, though, right? That team wasn't already in place in Seattle.
Well, he was there,
kind of
what,
had
for 2 years. I mean,
Yeah. So, but from the perspective of the Peyton Manning window, you're gonna have to bring like a Tom Moore, right? Somebody that he can relate to as an offensive coordinator. Somebody
And
that
I thought they should have done that 2 or 3 years
exactly.
ago.
You know,
Josh
something
is
like
telling
that.
me in my ear, Urban Meyer has no NFL experience.
Okay.
I
didn't
worry
think
about that.
so,
First of
but-
all, I think he's very comfortable where he is. It's his alma mater, right?
Yeah. Well, not his alma mater.
Or
He's from Ohio.
He's from Ohio. He's from Ohio.
That was his dream
So
job.
he's home, and I think they're about to build a throne for him and give him a scepter and a crown. I don't think he's going anywhere for a long, long time.